Hi, thank you for joining us today for our second webinar in our Brunch and Learn series on how to control expense spend. This session is ideal for finance teams who use Central and are looking to improve their expense management processes. My name is Kaylin Johnson. I'm the account manager at Zetadocs. I'm joined by my colleague, Senior Channel Sales Account Manager, Sandra Cummings. If you have any questions about what you're seeing during the webinar, please pop them in the chat and we'll take some time to answer these at the end. So let's get started. Let's take a look at our agenda for today. First, we'll have to look at some of the challenges associated with manual expense management. Next, we'll discuss the solution to these challenges, Zetadocs Expenses. Then we'll get to the part you've all been waiting for, to see the demo of the software in action. And finally, we'll discuss the next steps following this webinar.
Thanks. Thank you, Kaylin. Let's look first at the challenges involved in manually managing expense spend. I'm sure some of these will resonate with you. First, manual input of data into spreadsheets or other systems such as Business Central is time-consuming and prone to errors. Each transaction must be entered individually, which prolongs the processing time. Also, managing approvals manually requires physical routing of documents or emails between approvers. This process can be slow, especially if approvers are unavailable or if there are delays in communication. Second, ensuring compliance with spending policies and regulations is challenging when managing expenditure manually. Without automated systems in place, it's harder to enforce spending limits, monitor policy adherence, and prevent unauthorized spending. Finally, without a clear view of expenses, it becomes challenging for organizations to understand where and how funds are being utilized. This lack of visibility hampers the ability to assess overall spending patterns, identify areas for optimization, and make informed decisions about resource allocation. Those are the challenges, but what's the solution? You can see it on screen now. It's Zetadocs Expenses. Let's look at how Zetadocs Expenses solves these issues. It allows you to work faster. Zetadocs Expenses quickly enters receipt and card transaction data into your finance system for you, eliminating the need to type the same information multiple times. This not only ensures a rapid and seamless integration of data, but also frees up valuable time that can be redirected towards more high-value tasks. The efficiency in data entry not only contributes to time savings, but also enhances overall productivity by streamlining the tedious aspects of manual input. There's built-in compliance. Expenses that have received approval have already undergone an automated process, verifying their adherence to company policies. This automated check serves as a proactive measure, providing a heightened level of control over expenditures and mitigating the risk of fraud. By incorporating this automated compliance check at the approval stage, organizations can confidently ensure that all expenses align with established policies. This not only streamlines the reimbursement process, but strengthens the overall financial governance framework within the company. Finally, by leveraging real-time information, organizations can identify patterns, assess spending trends, and make informed adjustments to policies and processes, ultimately maximizing both time and financial savings. This proactive approach ensures a responsive and adaptive framework that aligns with the evolving needs and priorities of your business.
Now for the exciting bit, the demonstration. In this demo, we will show how Zetadocs Expenses helps you work faster with central visibility as well as ensuring compliance and control spend. We will finally show you the reporting feed from Power BI. I'll hand you over to Martin. As he is from our UK team, you will see the following recorded demonstration that the currency is in pounds.
Thanks, Kaylin. So here we can see the Zetadocs Expenses approval stream, and we can see we've got two-stage approval process here, with the first approver selected as our line manager called Kevin, and the final processor is April, who's in the finance team. We can add an extra approver if needs be, but we'll leave it as it is and just hit submit. And this means that Kevin will now get an email alert with that expense report ready for approval. So we can see here in his emails, we can click directly into that expense report, and this will take us directly to the expenses portal and directly to that report that we've just submitted. And on this screen, we can basically see a summary of the report that's come through. So we can see a bit of information as well as a history section that will build as we go through the approval process. And if I just click into the expense itself, I'll be able to see a side-by-side view where we've got the receipt on the right-hand side and a summary of the information that's been submitted here on the left. So it's very easy for the finance team to go ahead and check that everything matches. And if there are any mistakes, they can see so very easily on the screen. So just going through, everything looks to be correct. So at this stage, we can either approve or reject line by line or the report as a whole, or we can also go in and make any edits if necessary to this expense. So if, for example, this wasn't VAT reclaimable, I could just make that change and then continue the expense report along the approvals process rather than having to reject it and start from the beginning. No changes to be made here, so I'll just go ahead and cancel that. And I'll go ahead and approve it. I do also have the option to delegate this if necessary, but no need to do that in this case, so we'll just go ahead and hit approve. And it's just letting us know that we've gone above a spending limit on one of the expenses, and we can just go ahead and submit that. So that's Kevin's job now done. So now if I go over to April's profile, I can see that there is one task outstanding on the Zetadocs home screen, which will be the report that we've just approved. And if I click into that one more time, I'll see all the same information that we saw previously with a bit more history, and we can see that it's now been marked as approved. So if I click into that, once again, I'll see the same side-by-side view we had a moment ago, along with all of the information on the left-hand side. And again, we can either unapprove or approve line by line or the report as a whole, or we can go in and make the same edits if necessary. Nothing to be done here, so I'll just click back and then I'll go ahead and hit approve. No need for a comment, and we're aware of the warning sign. So up to this point, everything has happened outside of Business Central. As soon as the final processor, so in this case it's April and the finance team, hits that final approval button, Zetadocs will communicate with Business Central to create, in this case, an unposted purchase invoice. So if I head over to our reports and just refresh this, I should hopefully see that we've got an expense report, a purchase invoice 107260 has now been created. If I just copy this and head over to our Business Central environment, then go into our purchase invoices, I'll be able to search for that purchase invoice, and we can see there that the submitter has been set up as a vendor within Business Central. So if I click into that, I should be able to see all of the information that we've captured within Zetadocs Expenses has now come over to Business Central without the need to rekey any of that information. So we can see there was a lunch expense for £21.30, and then we can see the department code of sales has also come across. So that's the process in terms of submission and exporting to Business Central. So we've now successfully processed this expense report and others, but let's show you how Zetadocs Expenses can help you monitor and control your spending. So I've gone over to Power BI. So reporting capabilities are either available using Microsoft Excel or Power BI. You can now see that we've logged into our Power BI environment, and we're able to use this to either identify trends with vendors that can then help negotiate better terms later on, or identify things such as fraudulent transactions. So if I just go into a little bit more detail, I can check, for example, the expense type. So I'm able to see in more detail about which expense type is, for example, creating the most amount of spend. So for example, airfare, we can see creates the biggest chunk, and we can drill into that even further by clicking on airfare, and then we're able to see, for example, which submitter has claimed the most amount on airfare, what the total net amount is for airfare, the amount of tax that we've been able to reclaim, and so on and so forth. So get some great and detailed information. And again, we can check that for each different expense type, as you can see here. I can also check by submitter. So if I want to see, for example, which submitter has got the most amount of transactions, I'm able to see that here. And then I can break it down even further if I click on the submitter's name. So here, if I look at Adele, I'm able to see that she has the most amount of transactions. And I can then go through and see all of these transactions here. Each transaction also has a unique expense ID, which is related to Zetadocs Expenses, which again can help, like I said, with detecting fraudulent activity and things like that. And then if I also look, for example, at mileage, I'm able to see again who has the biggest amount of mileage. And again, I can break it down by each submitter if I want, and I'm able to see specifically mileage that is related to only to that one submitter. And it's a very great tool to get insight into how your spend is going. But that's it for the demo for now. So thanks for everything, and back to you, Kaylin.
Thanks, Martin. So, what are the next steps following this webinar? Book a demo. This will provide the opportunity for you to see the full range of features Zetadocs Expenses offers and provide the chance to ask questions directly. We will be contacting attendees in the next few days to get your feedback and see if you would like to arrange a demo. If you like what you've seen today, we have our third and final webinar session tomorrow morning. Lastly, we'll put up a survey at the end of the webinar that you can fill out if you would like a free demo. We've come to the end of our webinar, so thank you very much for taking the time out of your day to watch, and we hope you found it useful. Looks like we have a few questions coming in. For the first question, how do you handle jobs and tasks? Great question. With Zetadocs Expenses, it automatically syncs with jobs and tasks within Business Central. So if there are any changes, these changes are automatically updated within Zetadocs Expenses portal. Now for the second question, do finance teams have to reject the entire expense report if there is an error on one of the expenses? No, they do not. The software allows approvers to reject or edit individual expenses on a report. This means you do not have to reject the whole report. Now for the third question, how do you handle different mileage rates for different departments? The software allows users to be assigned to a specific group. This means specific mileage rates can be assigned to users. As mentioned, we will contact you in the next few days. Please feel free to write in the chat or fill out the survey that you'd be interested to arrange a demo. For now, thank you again. Have a great day and goodbye.